Hey! At the top of today's episode, we will be discussing the new Strixhaven set as a product, and then we'll move into chatting about the amazing new Mystical Archives list, going through it card by card and giving some context for prices before the pre-release next week.
So, first off, let's talk Commander decks. There are 5 total. We're going to list the overall value and reprints in each deck along with the 3 most expensive reprints in each.
First off, there's the Silver Quill Influence, White-Black Aura Control Goad deck. The estimated reprint values in this deck are about $166.66. It's helmed by Killian Decisive Mentor, and the top 3 cards by value are Land Tax sitting at $24.94 as of the making of this video, Ink Shield sitting at $11.82, and Arcane Lighthouse going for $6.21.
And then we have the Prismari Artistry deck. It is a blue-red Spellslinger / Making Tokens deck that is currently sitting at $142.92 in reprints. It is helmed by Rutha, Mastering the Moment, and its top 3 reprints are as follows. 2658 is Fairy Mastermind, great card. 1062 is Harmonic Prodigy, and for 729 you have Veyron, Voice of Duality.
Next up, there's the Witherbloom Pestilence deck, a black-green aristocrat life manipulation deck. The reprints in this one are going for about $109.35. It's helmed by Dina Essence Brewer. The top 3 cards by value in this one are Guillaume Master Chef, $18.77, Nether Trader going for $10.58, and Oran Frostfang going for $6.47.
Then we have the Lorehold Spirit deck, a red-white graveyard manipulation token go wide deck. It's worth mentioning that this deck is the only one out of the 5 that is helmed by a Planeswalker. It holds $172.83 in reprint value, and the Planeswalker helming the deck is Quintorius History Chaser. The top 3 reprints in this set are Bitterhorn Nissa's Animus, sitting at $21.10, Ameria, the Sky Ruin, sitting at $20.77, and Currency Converter, sitting at $15.06.
It's also worth noting that this is the highest value, not just in the singles, but overall among the 5 decks in reprint value.
Yep.
And finally, we have Quandrix Unlimited, a green-blue +1/+1s and X-cost spells deck. The total reprint value of this one is sitting at $124.92, and it is led by Zemone Infinite Analyst. The top 3 cards by value in this deck are Unbound Flourishing, sitting at $16.47, Ozolith the Shattered Spire at $11.88, and Benevolent Hydra at $10.53. And we just want to give a shout out and a thank you to timnitro on Reddit for providing all of this information. In Silver Quill, there are 13 new cards, 4 of which are lands.
In Witherbloom, 15 new cards, 2 of which are lands.
Lorehold has 16 new cards, with 2 lands.
Prismari has 14 new cards, with 4 of those being lands.
And Quandrix has 14 new cards, with 2 of them being lands. Word is that pre-con decks and bundle boxes are going to be delayed by 1 to 2 weeks. In general, what this means is that most Magic players will have a similar start date to explore playing with these decks, and the largest part of this product in general. I think it's a good thing because it reserves pre-releases for what it is supposed to be for, pre-release.
Wizards of the Coast and we as players have a crunch timeline. The story episodes for Secrets of Strixhaven began releasing on YouTube about a month ago, in the middle of the TMNT release. Not counting a new book telling parts of the story, it would take at least 5 hours to catch up to, which may not seem like a lot, but not everyone has that kind of time to dedicate to this.
We need to talk about reprints. This set is absolutely filled with great cards that haven't seen reprints in quite a bit of time for some of them. But here's what isn't being discussed. Normally, reprints like this would come out in an out-of-standard set. In the past, Wizards of the Coast has put out 5 to 7 varying sets per year, but they have normally dispersed the spread between standard Magic and extra sets of cards that were based around Commander or Modern, as other formats are arguably more popular at times. Now, though, we have a 6 to 7 standard set a year, which means to insert the great reprints from other formats, Wizards of the Coast is opening standard up to those same cards as well.
The plane of Strixhaven works really well for this purpose because of the Biblioplex and the mystical archives held within.
The Mystical Archives are a library of every spell from across the multiverse contained inside of the massive Biblioplex structure. Speaking of those amazing new multiversal spells, why don't we move into going over the wonderful new lists? I've taken the liberty of dividing them by color in Wooburg order, and we've listed each card's first printing as well as the lowest market priced version for each pre-Mystical Archive card from the Secrets of Strixhaven. Here we go. Starting off in white, we have Akroma's Will at $14.93 from Modern Horizons 3, Commander. Originally printed in Commander Legends 2020. Followed by Armageddon, going for $12.52 from 5th edition, originally printed in Alpha. Winds of Abandon goes for $6.78 from Modern Horizons, and it was originally printed in Modern Horizons. Angel's Grace goes for $7.38 from Time Spiral, remastered, and it originally comes from Time Spiral. Prismatic Ending, only selling for 47 cents from Modern Horizons 2, originally printed in Modern Horizons 2. Reprieve goes for $1.64 from the Lord of the Rings set, and originally comes from the Lord of the Rings set. Return to the Ranks at 76 cents comes from Magic's Core Set 15, from Magic's Core Set 15. Duty Beyond Death for 36 cents from Tarkir Dragonstorm came from Tarkir Dragonstorm. Helping Hand at 36 cents from the Lost Caverns of Ixalan, also from the Lost Caverns of Ixalan. Hop to It at 32 cents from Bloomborough, Repel Calamity goes for a whopping 7 cents. Comes from Bloomborough, originally printed in Bloomborough. Requisition Raid at 90 cents from Outlaws of Thunder Junction, and it originally comes printed from Outlaws of Thunder Junction.
And in blue, you have Cyclonic Rift, going for $29.98, printed in Commander 2014, and originally from Return to Ravnica. Then you have Flusterstorm, going for $8.51, originally in Modern Horizons via box promo, from the Commander 2011 set. Then you have Force of Will, going for $68.57. Its cheapest printing is in Dominaria Remastered, and its first printing was in Alliances. Then you have Brain Freeze, going for $9.34. Its cheapest printing is in a Secret Lair Countdown kit, and its original printing came from Scourge. Then you have Daze, going for $2.25. Its cheapest printing is coming out of a Dual Decks anthology, and its first printing came from Nemesis. Then you have Hungify, going for $1.80, and its cheapest printing is in Tarkir Dragonstorm Commander, and its first printing came from Planar Chaos. Then you have Preordain, going for 49 cents, and that printing of it is from Streets of New Capenna Commander, and its first printing came from Magic's Core Set 11. Deduce, going for 13 cents, and that cheapest printing is coming from Murders of Karlov Manor. It also came out in Murders of Karlov Manor. Then you have Disdainful Stroke, going for 11 cents. That set that it's coming from is Streets of New Capenna. Its first printing was Khans of Tarkir. You have Sleight of Hand, going for 31 cents. Its printing that is 31 cents is from 9th edition, and it first came out in the 1999 starter set. You have Spell Pierce sitting at 27 cents. That printing is from Double Masters 2022, and it's originally came out in Zendikar. Then you have Stock Up, going for $7.20 in Aetherdrift, and it originally came up in Aetherdrift.
Moving to black, we have Ad Nauseam for $30.90 from Shards of Alara, originally printed in Shards of Alara. Followed by Living End for $2 from Time Spiral Remastered, originally from Time Spiral. Vampire Tutor, everyone's favorite, at $64.07 at its cheapest from Classic 6th edition, originally printed in Visions. Culling the Weak at $20 from Exodus, originally printed from Exodus. Dismember at $5.47 comes from Modern Masters 2015, and it was originally from New Phyrexia. Sheoldred's Edict, which sells for $1.33 on the list reprints, was from Phyrexia All Will Be One. Smallpox, we love that one of this channel, going for 36 cents from Time Spiral Remastered, originally in Time Spiral. You have Bitter Triumph for $1.77 from Tarkir's Dragonstorm Commander. Then you have it from the Lost Caverns of Ixalan originally. Feed the Swarm goes for 24 cents from the list reprints, and it was originally in Zendikar Rising. Locust Spray goes for 9 cents from Aether Drift, originally from Aether Drift. Kind of a dud on that one. Stargaze goes for 27 cents from Bloomborough, and Zombify for 22 cents comes from 8th edition, and it was originally printed in Odyssey.
First off, in red, we have Crackle with Power, sitting at $10.19 in the Outlaws of Thunder Junction Breaking News art set. And the first printing of it came out in the Strixhaven School of Mages. Then we have Jeska's Will, sitting at $43.42, and that printing of it came out in Commander Legends Battle for Baldur's Gate, and the first printing of it was in Commander Legends. Then we have Subterranean Tremors, sitting at $7.37. That particular printing is from Conspiracy Take the Crown, and its first printing came from Conspiracy Take the Crown. Then we have Big Score, sitting at 99 cents from Final Fantasy's Commander decks. Its first printing came out in Outlaws of Thunder Junction. Next up we have Brotherhood's End, sitting at $1.09 from the Brothers War promo. It came from the Brothers War. Empty the Warrens is an 18-cent card from the list reprint, and the first time it was printed was from Time Spiral. You have Pyretic Ritual, sitting at $12.67. That printing of it was from Magic's Core Set 11, and the first printing of it came from Magic's Core Set 11. You have a Braid, which is sitting at 17 cents, from the Doubles Master set, and the first printing of it was from Hour of Devastation. Then you have Bulk Up, an 86-cent reprint from Foundations, and the first time it was printed was in Foundations. You have Burst Lightning, a 20-cent reprint from Modern Masters 2015, and the first printing of it was in Zendikar. You have Monstrous Rage, a 63-cent reprint from Wilds of Eldraine, and the first reprint of that was in Wilds of Eldraine. You have Return the Favor, a $2.24 card from Outlaws of Thunder Junction, and the first time it was printed was in Outlaws of Thunder Junction.
In green, we have Awaken the Woods, sitting at $17.32 from the Brothers War promo pack, originally printed in the Brothers War. You have Berserk at $15.59 from Conspiracy Take the Crown, originally printed in Alpha. Triumph of the Hordes goes for $20.76 from New Phyrexia, originally printed in New Phyrexia. Crop Rotation, a $4.14 card from the Dual Decks Nissa vs. Ob Nixilis, and originally printed from Urza's Legacy. Glimpse of Nature, $9.19, comes from Secret Lair Countdown Kit and was originally printed in Champions of Kamigawa. Shamanic Revelation, 74 cents from the starter Commander decks, and it was originally printed in Fate Reforged. And Veil of Summer, a $9.14 card from the Core Set 2020, comes from the Core Set 2020. We have Giant Growth for 6 cents from the Return to Ravnica set, highly overprinted set, and originally printed in Alpha. You have Knockout Maneuver, which goes for 8 cents from Tarkir Dragonstorm, originally printed in Tarkir Dragonstorm. Pick Your Poison at 29 cents from Murders at Karlov Manor comes from Murders at Karlov Manor. Royal Treatment, a 57-cent card from Wilds of Eldraine, originally printed in Wilds of Eldraine. And Shared Roots, a $1.22 card from Avatar The Last Airbender, originally from Avatar The Last Airbender.
And then we have our mixed colors. You have Bring to Light at 28 cents from Battles for Zendikar. Its first printing was Battle for Zendikar. You have Culling Ritual sitting at $1.55 from Duskmourn House of Horrors Commander's decks, and its first printing was Strixhaven School of Mages. You have Deflecting Palm sitting at $4.31 from the Khans of Tarkir, and its first printing was in Khans of Tarkir. You have Expressive Iteration sitting at 42 cents from the Tarkir Dragonstorm Commander deck, and then its first printing was the Strixhaven School of Mages. You have Fracture sitting at 95 cents from the list reprints, and its first printing was also in the Strixhaven School of Mages.
And just as a bonus, we are including the 10 cards on the special guest list of cards that could appear in your packs, replacing a common card slot.
Starting off, we have Archaeomancer, sitting at 32 cents from the Ultimate Master set. Its first printing came from Magic's Core Set 13.
Then we have Archmage Emeritus, $1.69 from the Tarkir Dragonstorm Commander decks, originally from Strixhaven School of Mages.
Then we have the Murmuring Mystic sitting at 28 cents from the Guilds of Ravnica. Its first printing was in the Guilds of Ravnica.
You have Grim Haruspex, $1.94 for the Commander 2019 version, originally printed in Khans of Tarkir.
Then you have the Dual Caster Mage sitting at $3.99 from the Doubles Master set, and its first printing was Commander 2014.
You have Magus of the Library at 34 cents from Planar Chaos, originally printed in Planar Chaos.
And then you have the Sylvan Library sitting at $25.71 in 5th edition, and its first printing was in Legends.
You have Adrix and Nev, Twin Casters, a $9.33 card from Commander 2021, originally from Commander 2021.
Then you have Cody, Vociferous Codex, sitting at 34 cents from the Strixhaven School of Mages, and its first printing was in the Strixhaven School of Mages.
And finally, we have the Library of Lang, a $4.87 card from the Revised Edition, originally printed in Alpha. As you can tell, most of the cards are worth less than $5 and should be considered a nice bit of gravy on top of what looks to be a fantastic set for both drafting and collecting. We hope you'll join us as we follow along with the release of Secrets of Strixhaven. If you like what you hear and want to help us grow, please like, subscribe, follow, and drop us a comment.